Well, we don't have any horse video by Pyrex, but we do have a horse video by Royalty is Here, the Umamusuma epidemic. Yeah, we'll look at that. We'll look at that. We'll see what the epidemic of Umamusuma has brought us. Let's go. It's time. Wait, I need to like this video. It's time for horse hunts. More hunts. Always Hans.
So unless you've been in a nuclear fallout shelter, or actually off the internet contributing to society, making connections, memories, and—
Me? I would never. Contributing to society? I would never. I will contribute with 4 children. That's more than enough. Next week we get more Hans. Yeah, I've seen it. Actually, the video's dropping tomorrow if I'm not wrong.
Even perhaps contributing to that 401k, and maybe committing a bit of tax evasion. We don't judge here, but you probably don't know—
don't do that in Germany. They would rather jail you for tax evasion or tax fraud than raping a 12-year-old with 10 people. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend.
Know what's been happening on the internet as of late, and that's a good thing. Most of it can be ignored nowadays. You probably don't even know what soggy biscuit is. Don't Google it, it's not worth it. But there has—
Soggy biscuit, was it? Soggy biscuit. What is wrong with you? Soggy biscuit is a male group masturbation activity in which participants stand around the biscuit or cookie, masturbating and ejaculating onto it. Why? And then somebody must eat it. The ones who fails to hit it must eat it. Why would you give us that information? Why do you know that? Rara!
It's been an epidemic you probably don't know about that has blown out of proportion these past few months. And it has been everywhere. Every platform, even on the news. Any form of short content has been infected.
Bow to your queen. True and real. See, I could technically have Mambo as my ringtone. I wouldn't, but I could. That's the worst part.
Even my reels, the one that is basically bipolar with how it switches from borderline racist memes to all around just random things. Like, it goes from Bible verses to absolute gruesome traffic accidents, mainly located in India for some reason. Like yesterday, I'm pretty sure I saw a person get turned into a foldable chair by an elephant. Involuntarily. It was horrifying. If I ever was going to open my reels in public, full volume, it would be like playing Russian roulette with 5 out of 6 bullets loaded, and the bullets are filled with compressed horse semen. And if you get that reference—
I do not get that reference. It still sounds silly though.
Friends, you're f***ing old. Just had to keep your ego in check. But speaking of horse semen and glue factories, you may have or may not have noticed the horse girl epidemic. Yes, an influx of female horses on the aforementioned platforms like
Twice right of somebody writing an article. Why is Gen Z into horse racing now?
Kid you not, it is being brute forced to everyone, primarily because these just aren't normal horses. These horses are horse girls. Anime horse girls, to be specific. And I will be honest, they've kinda grown on me. And yes, once again, Japan is behind this. Not only do we have an anime about a vending machine isekai.
Reborn as a vending machine. Oh no, not this one.
Let's not forget that one Austrian painter isekai, and that manga about a dogman that wants to touch one of his parents for revenge. And I can't even say the title of said manga because there's a slur at the start.
Dog N-word. It is crazy. It is actually crazy what people have been coming up with. It is actually insane.
But we also have horse girls now. And of course I'm talking about Umamusuma, which recently, as of around July, has blown up significantly. Partly due to the world release of Umamusuma Pretty Derby, which is a game that released globally in June, but has been available to the Japanese audience since 2021. These motherfuckers were holding out on us. What else are they hiding? High School of the Dead Season 2? Iron Fortress Season 2?
Those are hidden. Those are unfortunately protected by the globalists in Antarctica.
Another f***ing Toradora season? But before this, Umamusume was a manga, an anime with multiple seasons, with multiple spin-offs and even a movie. But mainly it has seen a surge in popularity due to the game now being available to the rest of the world. But it was popular beforehand. But what is Umamusume? What are these horse girls in quotations? What is the best horse girl? Why is the game seeing such a spike in popularity? Why is it all over my For You page? Is the community that insane? And no, there are no femboy horses. I know you were gonna ask, you sicko.
I would have not asked if you didn't bring it up. Again, royalty's here. What is your thing with femboys? Again, you want to tell us something? I'm asking you again, because there's a chance you might see this. There is a chance you might see this. What is it with you and femboys? I have a theory. I just can't prove it yet.
Go to sing, 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 go to sing.
First, the plot of Umamusume basically goes like this. A bunch of horse girls, each being unique in their own way and with their own personalities, all attend a school called Trace and Academy to become top racers and also idols. For some reason. And no, nobody is riding the horse girls. They are not centaurs. And apart from their ears, tails, and shoes looking like horseshoes, and they also have horse strength and speed, and they even weigh the same as horses.
What the fuck? I did not know that they would weigh the same. Nah, this can't be real. Nah, this can't be real. What would the beds be made out of?
But apart from that, they are completely humanoid. But not all the horses in the game are actually girls. Or are they? Well, all the horses in Umamusume are actually based on actual horses. Or more accurately, are the embodiment of them. And a lot of them were stallions, just turned into cute anime girls. Japan well and truly is ahead of its time. In the anime itself, you can actually find a bunch of moments that actually happened in real life. Like the horse Jungle Pocket doing a roar after achieving a victory in 2001 for the Tokyo Yushin. Ogre Cap was very uninterested in things outside of eating and running, both of which are shown in the anime. This motherfucker is the sin of gluttony, and he
She might win against Goku. I just realized.
shook his head before races, which is also shown in the anime. And he also befriended a cat that previously hated him. And then there's Goldship, who was not only a fiend in the anime, but was also one in real life. And one of
True and real.
these instances is captured in the anime, where he was too busy arguing with another horse to actually race. Whilst it's unclear what he actually was doing, in real life this did happen and it cost people betting on him 12 billion yen, which is roughly $80 million.
Holy shit. Imagine losing $80 million because the fucking horse didn't listen. That's crazy. It's still crazy. I didn't know how much 12 billion yen were. Only that it was a lot. But 80 million is crazy work. 81 million almost, actually.
But more about the lore of some horses later on. But if you're one person to worry about spoilers, try and avoid the win history of any of the horses in the anime. But for some reason, this anime and movies about horse girls racing looks like it had 20 times the budget of something like Blue Lock. Look, it has actually become a meme online talking about the animation comparison, but there might actually be a reason for that. And that's because not only is Umamusume huge in Japan to the point where it holds the title for the most sold Blu-ray in TV anime history.
What the fuck? That's crazy.
For its season 2, horse racing in general in Japan is quite popular. with Japan holding the top 2 biggest horse racing courses, with more than 21,000 horse races held each year, with 15 million fans turning up to said horse races each year just in Japan alone. Yes, horse racing in Japan is a big.
That is very much a big deal. We should make it a big deal. We need to make it a big deal outside of Japan. Bigger deal.
And the horses themselves have their own fans and fan clubs. A good example is Haru, who is in the anime, who was a horse that in real life lost 113 races with no wins. But she did win one for retired horses, so that counts. That does count. But even
that count. I agree. That does count. We count that. For sure. We count that.
Even though she lost so many races and had quite the sad story around retirement, she won the hearts of many and was named the shining star of losers everywhere, or the star of underdogs everywhere, and kept racing no matter how many times she lost, something that is also displayed in the anime. On her 100th loss, over 5,000 people in 2003 came to watch, and in 2004 she actually saved a race course called the Kochi race course that was struggling at the time and was about to go bankrupt. But so many people showed up and bet on Haru even though the odds were terrible, and they primarily did this because it was Haru, and betting on Haru was sort of like a good luck charm. But the lost bets and charms made from Haru's hair was enough to save the racetrack, and Haru was loved as a horse that kept losing, but
even a loser can still win, it appears, in other ways. In this case, it was the hearts. I miss you. Poor horsey.
Never gave up, and that love is being once again conveyed to this day in the anime and the games community. So next time you're chasing your losses, ask yourself, would Haru give up? And then spin that slot machine, the bonus will come eventually. You can actually donate ryegrass to some of these horses that are still alive, and Haru received so much recently to the point where they broke the website. And she is not the only one people have found love for. A lot of people have fallen in love with these horses and their in real life counterparts' stories, to the point where there's a tiny bit of infighting in the Umamusuma community about which horse is the best, but more about the community in a bit. But I can almost guarantee you the one CEO that approved the creation of a
There's also Yuritards crashing out over the game. I'm sorry. You are a minority. Keep being one.
Manga, anime and game about horse girls racing has just secured the popularity of horse racing for at least the next decade. We already have Umamusume cosplayers simulating races, and
nah, this that's hilarious. What? That's crazy. Wow.
also a collab with KFC for some reason. After seeing the 5th gold ship meme on my feed, I had to see what all the fuss was about. So I checked out the lore of some of the horses, watched the anime, took a look around the community, and downloaded the game that everyone was talking about that had recently made this franchise about humanoid horse girls blow up even more. And was I disappointed? In parts, yes, and I'll let you guess those parts. The anime was good. I specifically enjoyed Cinderella Grey, which recently concluded, and the movie I haven't got around to watching yet. The game being the first so-called gacha game I've ever really played. Yes, Umamusume took my gacha virginity, we're ignoring the one
yes.
time I played Genshin Impact, because that was kind of like Mormon soaking. It doesn't really count, but from the game I first thought I broke it by alt-tabbing because it just kept playing the intro music concept over and over. When I got past that, I went through the hellishly long tutorial, and then I could finally do the best part of the game: gambling.
Nah, the best part are the races, not gonna lie.
Of which I was finally guaranteed the character I wanted to play: Gold Ship. I mainly stuck to
the worst part of any gacha is the gacha. That is the worst part. It just is.
career mode because any other game mode except a few is you versus other players, and I just want you to know I've never seen so many sweaty little pay to win whales. Like fuck. Hell, how many of you came over from War Thunder and sold your grandparents to slavery to pay for the top tier characters? But you quickly find in the game you're not actually playing it. You're kind of just a cuck in the corner watching the gameplay like an actual horse spectator and hoping you trained the best stats to beat all the other horses. But it is still quite fun. But once again, I mainly stuck to career mode with Gold Ship. I won my first few races and it went downhill from there, with my career ending before I hit the 3rd goal, and Gold Ship was immediately shipped off to the glue factory, never to be seen again, but you will be seeing her on a Pritt stick in the future. I still haven't fully beaten
Yeah, the first few attempts with me with the rice shower were atrocious.
the career mode with Gold Ship, but I'm not giving up. I am enjoying it though. Yes, I'm enjoying the first gacha game I have ever played, but I did not enjoy looking into the community. Now with the community of Umamusuma, you will quickly find yourself either being spammed with Gold Ship memes,
Hello everyone! Go bananas with Umamusuma!
I didn't do that for months. I didn't drop a bomb.
or something to do with
What the heck? Adolf Gold Ship blur. What is real? She can't hurt you.
Someone's at the door. Who is it?
Mambo!
Just
Mambo!
No, there's so many mambo memes. There's so many mambo memes. It is horrible.
or a post about how much they love Agnes and would do anything for said horse, and then there's the people that take it to a concerning level. Like, what the f is that? There's also one guy that spams every reel to do with Agnes, and that is just peak unemployment. But there is a rule in the community: don't lewd the horses, and that is already asking.
I have to say this though. I'm not gonna lie. Side games themselves are fucking hypocrites when it comes to that. You loot the horses anyways.
Too much of the internet. There are some people that would goon to pictures of themselves with the Snapchat filter that turns you into the opposite gender. So I don't even think these horses are safe. But the community kind of doesn't want you to do this, primarily because of the creators of Umamusuma. Side games in Japan have a rule about creating certain art pieces of the horses, because once again they were actual horses, and some of their trainers who treat these horses like family would be pissed to see one of their stallions that was probably a legend drawn doing some heinous shit, and would probably sue Side Games if they found out. But they're okay with them being anime girls, that's pretty cool. And as people said online, Side Games probably wants to keep a good reputation with the Japanese Racing Association, so they can keep pumping out content with actual horses used as inspiration. But people outside of Japan still do it, just most fans tell you if you do stuff like that, keep it to yourself or just don't do it at all. They don't want another Overwatch situation where most people remember the online animations more than the actual game. But in the community...
Was that a good game? Nah, you were good porn. Crazy.
You can also find an arms race where people are fighting for who is the best horse. You got the Ogre Cap fans, the Rice...
It's Urara. Like, hello?
Shower fans, obviously the Agnes fans, the Haru enjoyers, and the Gold Ship and Gold Family fans. Because apparently being a good racer or a good racer and mentally deranged is a hereditary gene in the Gold Ship family, and there are a lot of them. But despite this active battleground, the community has come together a bunch of times. Now if you haven't heard of WPlace, it's basically a global map where you can draw on a specific location and it is displayed to everyone else.
Deltarune fans are ontologically evil. Sorry. Deltarune fans are evil. On this place, I mean.
Drawing on the map. You have fandoms that battle other fandoms in specific locations for their drawings to stay, and some people even take it as far as getting hundreds of bots just to maintain certain spots. But what else you may not know is that a lot of the horses in the game, their in real life counterparts are unfortunately not with us anymore. Some refer to the game as a digital graveyard of sorts because there is only like 2 horses in the game that are actually still alive. However, in August, the community came together, as one of the horses in the game, Grass Wonder, had recently passed away, and in one location on W Place there was a tribute to him, which is an impressive feat with all the communities that will battle for a single location. But these people managed to maintain this memorial for a while before it was eventually destroyed, with many putting the blame on the Deltarune fandom. And fucking hell, I did not know you could actually develop a slair for a fandom. Do not
Agreed.
mess with these people's horses, but I will say it was sort of beautiful in a way. Making a tribute for a horse that most people had never even seen in person, and people outside of Japan probably only knew because of the anime girl persona. It's kind of wholesome in a way, and it wouldn't be the only time, as unfortunately quite recently the horse who never gave up and
No, don't remind me, not the Haru.
had just won her first race, Haru Ura, as of September 9th, had passed away. There were many tributes both online and in physical locations for her, and on W Place they engulfed certain places in Japan with art of her. Looking around, it was actually surprising how many people truly felt something upon hearing about the news of her passing, even though they had never met the horse or had any interaction with her. Once again, it's wholesome in a way, and looking at her memorial on the W Place today, it's actually
There's a lot of Uraras here. Holy!
expanded. But what else is impressive about this community is the amount of shitposts. First, they've added a bunch of mods to games like Left 4 Dead, adding Umamusuma to it.
Mambo, omatsuri mambo, dabu dabu, yuda yuda, omatsuri mambo.
I can't tell if she's supposed to be the pipe bomb or the gnome, but this community has been circulating shitposts for years, and I just realised yesterday they were behind a very popular one 2 years ago of one of the horse girls singing Mustard's Ballin' whilst walking down the street. Like, I wasn't the only one that just realised this was an Umamusuma girl, and it had like...
Yeah, I've come across this one around that time too, but I didn't know. Crazy.
2 million views, and it was shared everywhere. This community has a lot of influence. Even Goldship became a VTuber at one point and joined HoloLive on stage. Anything but training. She can also be found on the
Anything but training. This is very accurate.
Umamusuma YouTube channel, which has given birth to a lot of slop for the community, and she's also played Poppy's Playtime. Pretty sure there's not a soul that hasn't played that game at this point. But that is
I have not, and I never will.
basically the community. These people really love these horses. But really quickly, I just wanted to speak about the best part of Umamusuma for me. The horse lore.
レーダー受信、レーダー受信、周囲にトレーナー反応あり。
So surprisingly, a lot of these horses have a lot of lore to them. Goldship, or Golshi, the horse I've mentioned about 20 times in this video, and is basically the community's mascot at this point, but in real life they are a big troll. Not only, as mentioned before, did he lose people about $80 million, but he also tried to constantly attack his trainer. In some videos he even tried to get into a
Holy shit, he tried to kick him.
position to straight up kick him, and was all around well known to be very unpredictable. But he absolutely loved his groomer, immediately recognizing him at one of their reunions, and spotted him out of all the people present and came to say hi. However, despite Goldship being this chaotic, he was also an absolute powerhouse when he was in the mood to win, with him winning 11 races in a row and most times always being in the top 5, which is something he may have inherited from his father, who was Stay Gold and had the same record as his son and the same temperament. His mother Point Flag, although having a limited career, also had quite the stats, but Goldship apparently didn't like being raised by his mother much. When he was born, apparently due to her neglecting him, he would only really be seen around her when nursing. Despite his career, Goldship would retire in 2015 and become a breeding stallion. And boy did he have a successful career. He fathered approximately 517 children.
The horse population is not falling with this one.
in total. The child support would go crazy, but there was one thing which horse professionals noticed when Goldship retired. Often horses that race and retire have damaged or somewhat impacted muscle health, primarily due to the racing and training. However, Goldship was completely fine, and it's assumed when racing he never truly gave it his all. So this motherfucker could have done more, he just didn't want to. As of right now though, Goldship is still alive, living in the same place his father, Stay Gold, did, and also the late Grass Wonder. He would actually go out of his way to go see Grass Wonder and go greet him, of which Grass Wonder would actually get really happy, and the two of them would harass the other horses. When Grass Wonder
Why are you putting it like that?
passed, it was said Goldship was in an awful mood and quite depressed following his passing. I personally didn't know horses had this much personality. They're like big dogs. I previously thought they behaved like
big dogs. They might. They're probably fairly intelligent too, right?
NPCs without scripts. But for a chaotic horse, Goldship has quite the personality and relationships. The horse Ogre Cap was a monster on the horse track, and was said to be responsible for a boom in horse racing from 1987 to 1990, and had the nicknames Grey Monster and the Idle Horse, because despite being born somewhat weak and his mother not being able to supply enough sustenance to her child, Ogre Cap would grow to dominate the horsing scene, winning 22 times, being in the top 5 31 times, and only being in the lower top 5 twice. His trainer noted that the horse only really loved sleeping, eating, and racing. He would be named the Idle Horse due to how many fans he would attract to his races. However, the same fans are said to have been very vocal that the horse had done enough, because as said once again, racing is a lot for a horse. And on his last race, which he won in 1991, he would retire, and like other horses became a breeding stallion, of which he would retire from that in 2007. And in retirement he would befriend a cat and live his days peacefully on the field.
So homie retired and became friends with Puss in Boots.
Where in 2010 he would unfortunately pass due to a leg injury at the age of 25. A monument was erected, and still to this day his life is celebrated in July each year. Agnes is another fan favourite who was a horse that didn't take part in many races, but in the races they did take part in, they completely dominated the competition, sometimes by many lengths and breaking records. He was expected to win the Triple Crown, which is winning 3 specific races in a row, but he would be known and respected as the Phantom Triple Crown instead. As on his last race that he won, they noticed an injury which led to his retirement in the same year. He, like the rest, would become a breeding horse and was known as a successful sire for horse breeding, but he would unfortunately suffer a heart failure and pass in 2009 at the age of 11. I think if Agnes didn't get that injury, the horse would have absolutely destroyed most other horses of that time. But now not only are they remembered for the fact every race they were in they won, they are now also remembered as a direct and intelligent horse girl that the community has become absolutely obsessed with.
Dude, let's kill the horse.
What?
Pause! No, we do not kill the horse!
I'm so tired, Finn!
In conclusion, going into this, I thought this whole thing would be more like Genshin Impact and have a community just as worse as Genshin, but it isn't that bad and I'm actually enjoying playing the gacha. The community itself, despite loving the horses a bit too much, are kind of wholesome in a way with how they respect these horses that these anime girls are based on. The whole concept of Umamusuma is unique, even though we have other titles like girls named after warships and in other cases guns, but this
yeah.
This one I genuinely did enjoy, primarily due to finding out most horses have lore and how well they were translated to the media being produced. It's not on the same level as Warhammer lore, but it's lore, and I genuinely liked finding out about it. But if I had to say who the best horse is, it is obviously Goldship.
Nah, it's Aurora, get out of here.
Fuck you. Anyway, that's all I had to say, and bye.
I disagree. It's Aurora. Anyways, That was a good video. Yep. This video summarizes it up perfectly. That is what Umamusuma is. It is just such a great game, and I love it, and I'm gonna get broke of it because of it, even more broke than I already am. I'm gonna invest all my stocks into Umamusuma and Cygames, and I'm gonna go broke on when Still in Love releases. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe.